Okay, in the previous tutorial we uh, carpeted the room here and talked about the role that Z order plays in GDevelop. So the higher the Z order of the object, the more preference it gets for being on top, right? So basically Bob has the highest Z order of anything because we always want Bob to be on the screen, right? In this one though, we're going to talk about sort of furniture. We're going to add some more life to the room here. So let's go ahead and add a new object. And it is going to be a sprite, not a tile sprite. And we're going to call this desk. And let's add the animation itself. And here's our desk. And again, I make these in Paint 3D very simply, very easily. And let's hit apply and drag our desk onto the screen. Now you'll see the Z order. The Z order started from where we gave Bob's Z order. So Bob's Z order is 500, and the desk's is 501. We don't really want the desk Z order to be that high, honestly, because it's not that important of an object. So let's go ahead and click our properties window. Sorry about that. There it is. And let's give the desk here a much lower Z order. 8, that's fine. Okay. Now, if we hit preview, if you've been sort of going through these tutorials and kind of seeing how this works, you should already know what's going to happen here, right? So what happens when I go into the desk here? Nothing. Alright, that's because we haven't told the program to actually do anything with it yet. So like any desk, we don't want to be able to walk through it, right? We want to be able to make this so that when you collide, you stop, right? So let's go back into our main events, and I just clicked here and made a new comment, right? We talked a little bit about commenting as well, and for organization. And I made this comment here, just Bob and his furniture. And let's add our first event here, and it is collision. When Bob collides with the desk, I'll hit OK. We want something to happen, right? Here's what we want to happen. We want to separate, go to position, and separate two objects. We want to separate Bob and the desk. So let's see what happens when we do that. Alright, so there it is, it separates. But if you want to make this a little bit more realistic, right, there's some carpet here. We should technically be able to go, ooh, Bob is sliding around a lot. We should be able to go right into this space. So let's talk about how we get that to happen. And let's stop Bob here from sliding around so much. I think it has to do with the rotation speed here. I think it's taking a little bit too long to rotate. And that's what's making him slide around. It's in the middle of the animation for rotating. Yeah. That did it. Okay, for the most part. Alright. So let's make this a little more realistic. So let's double click on desk and let's edit the hitboxes. Now we're going to, this is your hitbox sort of mask, right? Everything in this red area is considered like collidable now. So we're going to actually use a custom collision mask. And I've found the easiest way to do this is to separate this into the rectangles or squares. So let's add a new one here. And we got to move these little points around to create new rectangles for this, new hit areas. And it's not the easiest, but it is well done. So there's one. Let's drag this one up here. We're going to make the first one rectangle just the top of this. So the first one now, rectangle that's collidable, is just the top of the desk. Okay, but we want to add these two as well. So we'll add another rectangle here by clicking the plus sign. Let's see, another one shows up. Let's drag this to the bottom here and drag that point here, that point there, and that point there. Now we've got the top and the left leg here are collidable. We want the right leg to be collidable as well. So we'll add another rectangle here and drag down here. Let me fix this, move this over just a little bit more. There we go. Okay, now, if we did this correctly, this open space, you see how you no longer see the red there? That should mean that our character can move in here and will only be stopped by these 3 rectangles that we created for our desk. So let's close it up, hit apply, and let's see what happens here. Oop, he slipped right through. He was stopped. See, he is stopped, but you can see here I can kind of end up kind of pushing my way through. Yeah, I think that happens. Well, we'll talk about how to kind of fix this and do a workaround. I think what happens is when you use the separate two objects method here, it really tries to separate the objects as best as it can, and sometimes that means it's just easier to move through. So we'll fix this by going to our main events, and we're going to add common actions, movement, and we're going to add a stop the object. So we want to stop Bob actually to this as well, right? So now under Bob colliding with desk, we have move away from desk and we have stop the object. And let's see if that fixes our little problem here of moving through the object. Yep. Now I'm not 100% sure why you have to do it that way, but this is the best way that I've seen do it. I've handled this problem. And now we can move in and out of the desk. I will add one caveat here. If you move these around, right, let's say, because order in programming matters, right? It'll go to this first one and try to execute that and then move to the next one. So watch what happens just changing the order. Come on. When I was testing this out before, it wasn't working. Okay, so now when we test this out, you'll see, yep, no longer moving through. And we have a more realistic sort of moving environment for our character here.